Hello there, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name's Samantha, and this is my channel where I talk all about books. Anyway, today I come to you with a TBR video. I never do TBRs anymore because I don't like to stick to them, ever. I just feel like if I set certain books for me to read, then I don't want to read them. Although actually, so far this year I have actually been making lists of books that I want to read. Like, I've been making myself monthly TBRs, but I haven't been sharing them, so it takes the pressure away. And I have been mostly following them, but also doing a bit of mood reading as well. But yeah, anyway. I am doing a TBR today because I'm taking part in a readathon this month. I'm taking part in the Linguathon, which is being hosted by Annie, Brittany, and Noelle. I'll link all of their video announcements down below so you can check out their channels and find out more information. But basically the Linguathon, it happened last year as well in April, and I also took part then. But basically it is a month-long readathon with a focus on reading books in translation or books with a language focus. And I really like both of those things, so I thought I should take part and also like broaden my horizons a bit, read outside of all of the stuff that I've been reading so far this year, because I've been doing a lot of rereads. I think I would just love to read something a little bit different, switch things up a bit, and push me to read books that maybe I wouldn't pick up otherwise. So yeah, I'm taking part in that readathon, and then I have 2 other books that I need to read in the month for other things. So yeah, there you have it. Lots of books to read. But anyway, let's just go ahead and chat about what books I'm going to be reading, because that's what you're here for. So I plan to be on the Navigator team, which is being led by Annie. You don't actually have to choose a team because it's like everyone's working towards the same goal. So all of our points go towards like the same thing. So it doesn't really matter. And actually, like, if certain teams are lacking, then people are going to need to read books for those other teams. But I'm also trying to do the extra fuel prompts. So I should be able to do all of the Navigator team stuff and the extra fuel, and it should all be fine. Anyway, I just liked the prompts of the Navigator team the best, so that's what I'm doing. So the first prompt is to read A Woman in Translation. So I plan to read A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. I actually studied some Isabel Allende when I was at school. I studied some of her short stories in my first year of university, which was such a long time ago now. I feel so old. I had the realization the other day that I will be 25 next year, which just seems incredibly crazy to me. I swear I'm still 21, but actually I'm 23. And it's, oh, I don't know. Time is weird, guys. Time is weird. But anyway, so yeah, I read some of her stories back then. I wasn't a huge fan, but I think I would enjoy her novels more because also I enjoy novels more than short stories. I think this is her most recent novel. I know that it's a historical fiction, which I think takes place in Chile, so I'm excited to read it. But I don't really know that much else about it because, to be honest, I was initially planning to read a different book and I literally just switched this out at the last minute, so I don't really know the synopsis. But I will leave the Goodreads page down below so you can find out more information. But yeah, that's for that challenge. And of course, you can come back and watch my wrap up at the end of the month, and I should be able to tell you more about the book because I tend to not really read very much about the books that I'm reading before I read them. I tend to like to go into books not knowing what they're about because I just prefer it that way. So yeah, that's another reason why I don't like to film TBRs, because I'm just like, I don't know what this book is about, but I want to read it. So yeah, anyway. Moving on. The next challenge is to read a backlist translated work from before 2017. So for that one, I'm going to be reading Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I just read Anxious People by Frederick Bachman back in February, and I really enjoyed that. And I've been meaning to read this book for a really long time because I've heard literally nothing but good things about this book. But what I know about this book, I'm actually currently reading it. So what I know about this book so far is that it is set in this small town in Sweden, I think, because the author is Swedish, so I'm pretty sure like the books that he writes do take place in Sweden as well. But anyway, it's this really small town. Oh no, it's definitely in Sweden. What am I saying? It is in Sweden. Whatever. So it's this really small town where hockey is like the big thing. Like the whole town just revolves around hockey. And then the whole town is kind of shaken up when one of the players from the hockey team is accused of sexually assaulting a girl in the town. Yeah, the story just kind of follows that situation and sort of like, I guess, the effect on the whole community regarding that. But yeah, I actually just started this book last night and I'm not that far in. I think I'm like 15% of the way through, so not a lot, but I am enjoying it so far. I really enjoy Frederick Bachman's writing style, so yeah, I'm excited to see. Not excited. I think this book's gonna be really heavy, so I'm not necessarily excited, but I am obviously like eager to continue reading it and find out what's going to happen, find out how the story unfolds, because everyone really loves this book, and So yeah, I'm interested to see why. The next book that I'm going to be reading, I actually have already read because I'm filming this on the 7th of April because I'm the worst, but it's fine. But the challenge is to read a book that's from or about or set in a country that you visited or a country that you want to visit. So I've gone for the option of a country that I have visited, and I decided to read Daughter of a Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This book takes place in Prague, and I actually went to Prague a few years ago in 2019 with some friends of mine, and I actually do have a little vlog of it, which I will post up in the card if you want to go check that out. I went to Berlin and Prague for a little 5-day trip with some friends from university, and it was a grand old time. And I actually rewatched that vlog when I was reading this book so that I could like remind myself about like what Prague looks like. So yeah, it's just really fun to read a book that's set in a place that you visited. I don't know what the lighting is doing right now, but like it's just like this little strip on my face. I don't like it. If you don't know what this book is about, this book was super popular on BookTube when I first started back in 2014, and I swear I haven't heard anyone talk about this book in years. But it basically follows our main character, who's called Karu. She's 17 years old, living in Prague, attending an art school, but her life isn't as mundane as just that, because actually she runs errands for this chimera called Brimstone. Anyway, so she kind of works for this chimera, and she was actually raised by these chimera, and basically one day the portal that like allows her to see her chimera family, all of those portals get closed, and so she no longer has access to them, and our story kind of like starts from there and kicks off. I actually have read this book before. I read it for the first time in 2017, and I listened to the audiobook when I was driving in my car. Throwback to when I had a car. RIP. I miss driving so much. Oh my god, I loved driving. Anyway, but I used to commute out to school an hour and a half every day in the morning and then an hour and a half again at night. So I started listening to audiobooks in the car, but I did not have a good system because I didn't have an aux cord for my phone. So I had to just turn my phone up to full volume, but then my car was really old. Obviously, didn't even have an aux cord. So my car was really old, and so it was quite loud, and it was not a good reading experience. This book should be physically read, because Laini Taylor has a beautiful writing style. Oh my god. But yeah, because I had already read it, I knew what the twist was going to be, but I kind of like, I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, I think that that's going to happen, but I don't know. And then obviously it did happen. But actually I really enjoyed this book, and a lot more than I did the first time. The first time I read it, I still gave it 4 stars, but this time I also gave it 4 stars, and I actually mean it this time. It was really an enjoyable time. But I mean, that's for the wrap up, so you don't need to know that now. But this is the book that I'm reading for that, which I've already read, that's fine. And now we're moving on to the extra fuel challenges. So the first one is to read a book about language or linguistics, and for this one I'm planning to read Wordslut by Amanda Montell. I really want to read this, like, so badly, but the only problem is that my library doesn't have it, so I'm gonna have to buy it, and I'm really trying not to buy books right now. But I also really want it, because I loved Cultish. So yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted, but like I also think I'm just gonna cave and buy it because I want it, and I want to read it. So I'm hopefully going to read this one. And then the next challenge is to read a memoir by someone not from your home country. So for this one, I'm going to be reading Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I've had the audiobook of this for years, but I stopped listening to audiobooks pretty much when the pandemic started, because the main times that I listened to audiobooks was when I was like walking to class or stuff like that. And obviously all of that stopped. So I kind of stopped listening to audiobooks, and now I just barely ever listen to them because I'm always at home with my family. So like, I don't want to be antisocial and put my headphones in and listen to audiobooks. So normally I talk to my family and I don't listen to audiobooks. So I'm gonna have to like dedicate time to listen to this, but I do really want to read it. I've been wanting to read it for years. Obviously, I spent an Audible credit on it, like I want to read it, but I just haven't got to it. So this is the perfect time for me to read this. And then the final challenge for the Linguathon is to read a book that features words or phrases from another language. And for this one, I'm going for Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. I do not know very much about this book, but it has been recommended many times to me specifically. I know there's historical fiction. I think it's a multi-generational story as well, which I really enjoy. And I'm just really excited to read it. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm hoping that I love this one, and I think I will. As I said, I'm terrible with TBRs because I can't remember the plot of any book, but I remember like reading the synopsis and being like, damn, that sounds good, but I can't remember what it is, and I can't tell you, so I'm sorry. Anyway, then I have 3 other books that I'm hoping to read this month as well. So I'm going to be continuing on with the Shadowhunter read-along and reading Clockwork Angel, which is the book for April. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, which I remember reading and loving, but also I read all 3 of the books in like the space of a week, I think. So it was like a very whirlwind reading experience for me when I read these books in 2014. So I'm really excited to reread these books because I really don't remember very much about them, but I do remember like I loved the characters in this book more than I did in Moral Instruments. Well, like the main character. I prefer Tessa to Clary. That's basically the crux of it. So yeah, I really remember loving these books, and also like it's set in historical London and I live in London, so like I'm excited to see some landmarks that maybe actually I recognize this time, because when I first read it I didn't live in London. I didn't really go to London very often, so I feel like I read all these places and I was like, oh my god, so cool, but like I actually didn't like put it together. But now I think maybe I can, even though like I'm the worst Londoner ever. My London geography is terrible. But anyway, I'm still really excited to read this one. And then I also have a book that I'm going to be reading for a secret TBR video. Oh no, the TBR isn't the secret. The secret is the video itself. So I can tell you what book it is. No, actually, no, I'm going to keep it to myself. I'll keep it to myself. You don't need to know. So yeah, there is a secret TBR video coming in many months. So don't get too excited. But yeah, I have a book that I need to read for that. And then I have one other book that I want to read in the month, maybe 2 if I have time. I want to continue on with the Daughter of Smoking Bone trilogy and read Days of Blood and Starlight because I had such a fun time with Daughter of Smoking Bone. So yeah, that is the final book on my ambitious TBR. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know. But yeah, so those are all the books that I'm planning to read for the Linguathon and in the month in general, and hopefully I'll do some mood reading as well. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you've read any of these books and you would recommend them, let me know. Or if there are any that I should skip and try and find a different book for instead, let me know. But yeah, that's all I have in this video, so I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye!